What is that? What is that? Can I... let's see. Create a bridge? No. Come back down. No, I'm trying to figure out how to do this thing. No, come back. How do I move these platforms? There's something down here. There a different button somewhere? What? This feels intuitive, like, oh, you go stand on the thing. Go up there. But how do I make these things come out? Looks like there's 4 of them, so they just would rotate via a hinge right here to then all close this space. So I need to ride that thing upstairs somehow. I guess this is how they would take prisoners here or something. I'm gonna go back to the speaker platform. Otherwise, I don't know what else to do. Maybe go to Gehn's... go to one of Gehn's rooms. Maybe you can get like a camera angle of that sacrifice platform and like activate it from there. It presumably activates from somewhere. Yeah, the floor is open, so I can't walk onto the thing that you clearly would stand on, so you can go upstairs. Yeah, maybe if I go back to where this camera was, maybe you can view that and interact with it somehow, but I don't think that had inputs on it. So I'm not totes sure what to do there. So let's do globes maybe. There's a globe somewhere around here. That's at least something I can make progress on. I did a globe that was on the volcano island, and on the battery island, and then on the prisoner island. So that means that that's the 3 I've done so far, so I have not yet done the one on this island or the temple island. I don't remember where the one on this island is. So that's a fun problem for me right now. I feel like I've been continually oh, there it is. It's upstairs. Well, yup. We've been continually teased with the idea of how you get upstairs on this island. And this is more of that. So I guess the way you get upstairs is probably via that elevator. But I need to figure out how to make it accessible. Shouldn't be much more to do around here. And this leads back to Temple Island. What? Oh. Uh-huh. There we go. There we go. I was just I was just coming through and I'm like, this little device. It's like the one from before. Okay. That's good news. That's not the interface I'm trying to go for. So you are noise. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. There's a duplicate. I'm not gonna fall for it this time. You're tricking me. Your busted ass interface is tricking me into trying to delete the duplicate photo. But it's not real. It's here to trick me the moment I click on that. Okay, so that's good news. I just found the last one of those. Oh. It's funny, the game hitches every time I do that, and it's loading a big rock off to the right that seemingly isn't in the LOD of the area when you first get there. Like, they could just get rid of that rock, technically, but like, it's not visible while you're getting in the thing, but they don't load it until you're already taking off. But at that point you're already moving and it's potentially trying to load other stuff. And in that moment it tries to load that rock that's like just outside of your line of sight when you're taking off. So you see it like loading in all busted looking just so it can be on the screen for 0.2 seconds, then be off the screen again and be gone. Because you primarily see it from a distance. Just kind of an awkwardly optimized little thing. You know, almost every time I take this route, you see it glitching out. Womp womp. Yeah, here these are. So this tells me that this is the dot one. Because of this. I want to hit dot on this one. And there's a whole bunch of these, all pointing in different directions. So that must be the... yeah, that's the prison one, I think. You can't really tell where it's looking from here. Or maybe that was the forest one. They just aren't perfectly lined up. 'Cause, yeah, this is the horizontal one. It's over there. It's the volcano. There's nothing out there. I guess we might as well photograph these just in case I have a need to reference them at any point. A little hard to clearly see what you're... Oh, wait. Because you can click on them. That makes more sense. I don't want to retake the photos. It does feel like I'm just fulfilling Gehn's plans. The whole way through. Like, why am I going through and constructing his whole thing for him? And was there previously an island over there? Alright, revisiting this one kind of blows just because I have to rotate this thing again, which we haven't done for a while. It has to be via there, so... that's there. Hanging out. I believe next time we get a doorway, it should line up with it. Do 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 do, Mr. Sandman. Yes. Got it. Right on the dot. Because it's a dot. Let me back in your horrifying globe. Boop. This just feels like a chamber that gives me cancer. That's the vibe. Not a good vibe. Don't want to be in here. Ta-da! Back on train a little bit. There we go. And as far as I can tell, I still can't interact with these things. I look at these things a little bit, I'm like, what do they want from me? But yeah, it's like humming. Like it'll resonate with something or something. Kind of looked like it was about to crash. Ta-da! You. Everything else is blinking, but not you. You think you're so fucking cool. But I'll make you blink. I'll figure it out. Alright, so 4 out of 5 of them are now balled up and activated. And you, punk ass. I'm gonna figure out how to get upstairs. Probably next. And we'll probably do a travel time jump cut here because it takes a bit to get around. Skadoosh. There's the globe. Hang on a minute. So we know the catwalk goes back off the other direction where I was trying to go. There's the thing I need to activate it. Goes all the way towards here. Oh. How does that work? So the trapdoor thingy can access it? How do I open this? Open it back up, please. Is this like one of the only one-way doors that you genuinely don't open up as a shortcut? I definitely was hoping there was a trick to it. So this is the route the guy escaped to from Battery Island, which I get to via... I can't use the ball shortcut. You get to Battery Island by taking the mine cart to Volcano Island, then across to Battery Island, then... Okay, we have like 3 or 4 transit things to go through. I'll get back to you guys in a minute. It's gonna take a moment. Whee! Here we are. This should be right, and I was here not too long ago, but it was because we were going through that side of things. But I didn't revisit this for a while. Yeah, okay, I see it too. There's scraping marks going higher, which is just like a motion indicator, you would think. I'm annoyed that this thing opened, or closed. Definitely would like it to stay open for my purposes. But yeah, at first glance, the scrape is just like an indicator to like, yeah, pull it up and that's how you go. But it doesn't go that high. It only goes from here to here. So that should mean that we can go higher. Ah! They have such weird elevators. So many elevators that turn or change directions. Alright, a tree elevator. Like in the first game. Okay. Probably leads back to where we're trying to go elsewhere too. But definitely should be doing this. Okay, so this is this island. Nope, not that one. Birdie? Notebook. That's the trees, so it's horizontal open eye. Just missed it. Actually, was it a dot or a line? It's probably a dot. Get it while it's closing. No. Let me double check. It's line. I just missed it again. It's not working. Let's see if the marker is on it like it was in the other one. I can double check to see if that says something different. There it goes. They're really hard to make out in full motion. Yeah, it's a line. I'm just missing it, I guess. Sometimes it feels really forgiving, and sometimes it doesn't feel forgiving at all. There it is. Had to press it a bit later, it seems. Might as well finish this one off, and then I'll go upstairs and see what else I can access up here. There's a lot going on around here. Stare at the glyph. You will get additional stimuli when the game determines it. Here we are. So this is the last one of these. I presume it does something back at the Golden Globe, given that all of these are Golden Globes, and also the Golden Globe has 5 things pointing at it. I believe that's all what Gehn's journal was pointing us at. A multi-step ladder. There you go. Yeah, I take it that where you click determines whether you go up or down. I don't think it's really been an option before. Is there a reason to go on the bottom of that? Can you get on the bottom of that? Probably not. I had the thought of like, oh, you could probably get on the bottom by like just flipping it over, then going outside and coming in from a different door and getting on the bottom. I'm like, no. That doesn't make any sense because it's only connected to the current one no matter what. And you can only get on, you can only get off of the platform that controls it by having it be right side up, so you can't flip it upside down. Okay, so this thing has everything on it now. But to what end? One, two, three. It's only 4? Oh, it's only 4. So frequently 5 of everything. In a couple cases 6. Did I just like set it up for elsewhere and now I need to deal with the elsewhere part? Is there any kind of weird coordinate on this thingy? I don't see anything weird. It makes sense because this isn't like Gehn's base, it's just where he was dealing with this particular system, but all of his stuff is back up on Riven. So I've like finished hooking the whole thing up and now it's probably dead to me unless I want to use it as a alternative to traveling via the monorails and whatnot. Traveling in this game's interesting. You have to like really think about how the islands are connected to figure out how to get back to where you're trying to go. In particular in cases like this where that one mouth closed, so I couldn't just go back through it the way I wanted to. At least a really specific chain where like if you're not using the warping system via this stuff, then you're like, damn, I gotta go all the way back through almost every island to get to where I want to go. Which then reminds you like, oh right, the volcano island is next to the temple island, but you can't get to the volcano island from the temple island. You actually have to go to the forest island, but the forest island doesn't have a tram to the volcano island. It has a minecart that goes to the volcano island, so you have to go from the temple to the forest to the minecart that takes you to the volcano to then take the tram from the volcano to the battery island, then take the secret tram from the battery island to here. And you're like, damn, man. Really is a whole process. Okay. Special elevator thingy. I think there was nowhere else to go, right? Yeah. I did that. What is that? That just I think that's just a mistake. There seems to just be a square-shaped gap in the dirt showing other terrain through it. I don't think that's like a cement structure, because there's... Maybe it is. I can't... That's really weird looking. I can't tell what that's supposed to be. It looks like a whoopsie. Like a perfectly square-shaped cut in the environment, showing other dirt underneath it. Yeah, it doesn't look like a bunker or concrete. There's this weird seam down there where the lighting changes. Huh. Yeah, I don't think I can explain what that is, so I think it's just a mistake. Oop, we're going up. Did not know that was gonna go up. Aha, it is I, Lord of blah blah. Yep, no, this is just I'm Lord Gehn, cool boy, awesome dude, douchebag man. He really is that petty. Like, he needs to have a spot that's even higher than the village, which itself is tall as hell. Gehn is so insufferable. He's so fucking annoying. There we go. So now I can get over there. Whew. It's just a deeply obnoxious person. Okay, so like all of this was so that I could go back downstairs. Although we got this done in the process, that's good. I like the way that they layer multiple objectives onto the same locations like this. So like, if you're confused about how to do one thing you think you're trying to do, you'll often get progress from the process of hunting down a different objective. Like being like, oh, well, these platforms will connect to that orb up there, and one of my objectives is to find all the orbs. So while I was getting the last orb, I did end up finding the thing that makes that floor close. And now I can go back there. And now I get to figure out where the submarine currently is. Let's see here. Over there. I spotted the hole in the water. Do-do-do. Do-ba-do-do-do. You know what? Who cares? Sure, let's go this way. I mixed up the two levers and accidentally turned us around, but it's not much longer. Probably would take longer to spin it back around again anyway. There we go. Bloop, 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 bloop. Okay. Yep, all those pieces just slid right in. It's a little upsetting to consider the idea of him pressing that button while people are still hanging from that thing and then, like, severing all their arms or something. He seems nice. Oop. Yes. Very good. Please don't get anything pinched in the hole. Ah. Fly noises to reinforce the smell of decay. I... Oh. His skin tone changes whether or not I zoom in. Who is he? Who is he? Oh. That's spooky. Another star up there. Not exactly easy ways to escape my view here. I don't think he went down there. Is there anything in here? Like he left somehow while I was... Oh, right. Ah. Ah. Is that dynamite or a shovel? A blasting cap? Oh, I can't see shit. Oh. Wait, no, wait. Uh-oh. Ah! Okay, I found something. Oh. Oh, that's just that. Let's pull this back out. Can I okay. Whew! I was like, I can't see anything, help me! Here we go. Okay. Hello. Okay. Oh. So do I now trace my path back and these will lead me to something? Because this seems to block off my path. I take it now that I've reached the end, I can find these on the way back and they'll show me where the actual branch was. There it is. I also just feel the need to light these all up on instinct. Yeah. That made sense. This was the example. Maybe you could have seen that one just barely? I don't know. It seemed really dark. I think you might only be able to do them on the way back, reasonably. They hit a secret door behind a door again. They sure do have one trick sometimes. It's funny how much they use that. It's very goofy. Hello. Animals. This is one of the animals. Oop. Yeah, it's going. You were one of the animals. I think it was that one, but I should be sure. I keep thinking that it's going to be in my journal. It's my quote-unquote notebook, which is not a physical object. Big, long, whaley thing. This thing, it's got like a fin, and then that. Oh, that's the tree one. There's the other one. Okay. Got that one. Got that one. That one, that one. So it's this sharky, bitey thingy and this big, long thingy. I don't see one that has a bitey mouth pointing up. Am I crazy? Let's see. That's like a flying seahorse. Yeah, where is the bitey one? Keep going here. And this thingy is got two little legs, kind of, maybe, if I'm we're interpreting a bunch of butterflies. In the top right, it's got like a fin or a head or a tail. Not a great spread of guesses what it could look like. That's kind of like it in some ways. No. Is it that? I think it's that. That's the thing on the top right. And those little legs kind of, yeah. Okay. It's like 5 of them. The hell is this? I gotta go back, don't I? We gotta go back into the cave. Because that's not, yeah, that's the one where I couldn't get it to light up, but I saw the chalk thing, so I figured that must be it. But it was a different chalk thing, right? Because it looks like a drawing, like it looks like line work and not a silhouette. Looks like line art, I should say. And that's pretty different. Oh. I need to go back in the underwater area and see that one again. Where's this? Oh, here. That's fairly seamless. It's hard to spot that at a glance. But now we know it's there. Oh. Ta-da! You hold it for a bit, you can make them like stay glowing. They seem to be fading out. Yeah. They were all blinking when I came in. Huh. Anyway, time to fix my own mistake again. I wonder if I'm going faster or slower than I did in the original game. Not that it might not be an entirely reasonable comparison in some ways. Okay, question. Can I get back to the submarine? I guess the question is whether or not I can go back to the one-way passage I just used. Does this one let me call the submarine? Uh-oh. Because, like, the submarine not coming to me was part of the struggle, is that it was over somewhere else, and I need to go find where it was. Oh, but it's... So you can probably call the submarine to that one submarine bay, that's where I got it from. And I got there via... This is a big island. Oh man, how did I get there? Okay, shit. Give me a minute, might need to turn this place over for a little while. We're back. So yeah, it was just that you go on the monorail, not the rail, the tram, and you just rotate it. It was that one sneaky ledge we saw earlier. Nope, that's not a helpful button to press. Oh, wait, there it is. There's the button. The nice blue buttons that recall everything. They cheated. I appreciate that. I appreciate that they cheated. Probably because this is such a different loading environment that it probably doesn't simulate the outside area anyway. But this, you have to wait a pretty long time for most of these vehicles. Specifically if you recall the minecart back to its source, it feels like it takes like a solid minute of waiting. And you're like, to the point where you start to wonder, like, is it working? Alright, let's get going again. So I need to land at point 1, then leave and go to point 2, then get out and go back to point 1 on a foot, and it'll be open again like we did before. That'll be good. Yeah, this is the weird rail where it's oddly janky. It skips twice. It's not a smooth ride. It weirdly like goes a couple times. I wonder why. It definitely seems like something they would patch later, because it feels like it's just the game freaking out a little bit. It mostly doesn't happen. Like, this is all a smooth ride. But specifically, the first time you use the submarine, and every time you use that particular route, it kind of loses it. It's like the transitions between, because it's mostly a loop. So it's like where the port connects to the loop from external dividers. Run. I don't know how long it takes to close. I saw it happen once. But it definitely seems to take long enough that we don't have to worry about it that much. But it also seems like it closes while you're in here, almost automatically. Fuck. Okay. The steam is back upstairs again. Whoopsum doodle. I might have reset it by hitting the lever. I can't quite tell what the lever does next to the door on the outside. So maybe playing with that earlier reset the steam upstairs. We need to go all the way back up to do the steam, then all the way back down and hope that the thing doesn't close while I'm gone, because then I'll have to move the submarine back and forth again too. There we go. Now downstairs is steamy. It was surprisingly hard to tell at a glance that the door wasn't openable. It took me a moment to realize, like, oh, there's water. This water is transparent. Head on back down here. I still see a hole. Yep. Stay. And let's just go and whip this thing out and look for chalk. I guess isn't chalk, because we've seen what it's made of, and it's not made of the materials chalk would be made. Hello! It's the hole! I did have the right instinct there for a moment, didn't I? I saw that thing, like a flea or whatever, and thought, that's probably it. I wonder if it's familiarity to the symbols in the previous game or anything. Like if I recognize the symbols. Or I wonder if the symbols that were shown are the same ones that match up with the animals you've seen around the island. Definitely the case for the fish and the pelican whale thing. Pelican sea lion. Alright, skip right around to here because we do not need to stop at the school. And now I understand what I had previously fucked up. Alright, back up here. So we need to call you back down. We're getting there. I wonder why the view snaps like that. Might be a VR thing. Is this rope or steel cable? It might be steel cable, given that it has to support. It's supposed to be able to support multiple bodies like that. Found it. So are the lights still on? Yes. You. Uh-oh. You're one of them. Which one of you is it? You're kind of similar shapes. It's definitely that one. Yep. Oh, is it that one? Kind of a backwards pose. Could almost be that one if it was backwards. One of you is wrong. Okay, this one, that one, that one. Let's try this one. That one. This one, right? I'm in trouble. I wish I could just easily look at them all at once. Thing with little fin. This I can get rid of. I wish I could sort them and put them together and so on. Okay, so it's that thing with the little bill. So they were competing bird bill. It's just you, right? Yeah, it's definitely that one. And yeah, you've got this like separate, this like, it's the semicircle and then this consistent little like shape under here, which is that. So it's definitely those two. Let's see. I need to figure out the numbers, don't I? Is it a combination? I wish I could clearly see this one, but this is the one I'm least sure of. It's really hard to make out. Looks like that one. Is it that one? Yeah, it's got a little fin there. Little eye. Yep. Okay, so I need to turn this into a numbered sequence. So, this is the underwater one. Underwater and village is, it's called the flea. And the number is that and that. What number would that be? Let's see. Start with the easy ones maybe. This is 1. And this is the one that is... Let's see, get out of here. This guy. So we'll call, I'm just gonna call it the pelican for simplicity's sake. It's a weird monster that I don't have the name for right here. I really wish I could organize these to be in categories together because I have so many other screenshots mixed in here. 1 pelican. I think it's a combination where I have to put them in the right order. Okay. 3. Beetle. Let's call that one the beetle, because I think I call the other one the flea. That looks more agile. Whereas that one looks like a big dome. It's like a beetle or a tick or something. But yeah, if this is up, then it's 1, 2, 3. You can just barely see it in here. It's kind of low contrast to look at. This is 2. And this one is the one I don't know what to call it, honestly. Let's look what is the one I've been thinking it is. I'm not even entirely sure at a glance. Which one of them I've been thinking it is? This guy? Frog? I would like to like combine these notes when I get the chance. Let's see. Water and village. This is the distant one. This one is the fish. Yeah. Let's see. So I have 1, 2, and 3, right? So 1, 2, 3. So the other ones are 4, 5, and 6. And the options are those 2. These 2. It's the same one again. It resets the scrolling. Can I just drag these? Damn it. Alright, get these 2. So the 3 options are this, this, and this. Which doesn't line up with my previous theory about how the numbers might work, but if we're continuing to do them in clockwise order, it goes 1, 2, 3, and then the 3 options are this, and this. So let's say this is 4, so this is 5. This would be 6. What did this one look like? In the water. Other fish, unfortunately. 3/4 circle fish, sure. You are the down fish. That makes almost sense. So 1, 2, 3, 6, 5. Where's 4? 4. Flea, I guess. Yeah, drop something. It's fine. Deal with that later. All right, so 1. I'm gonna write this down now. 3, 4, 5, 6. I need to actually be able to put this in order now. So 4 is flea. And if I get really desperate, I'll have to like start trying to draw them all or something. So try to just convert all this information into something I can input in order. 1 is pelican. 2 is frog. That's a good sign when I don't know what I'm looking at. 6 is 3/4 circle fish. They're deeply cursed notations, but and then 3 is beetle. My inputs are noise, but if it gets me through the process, then it doesn't matter how bad it was. Okay, so 1, pelican. 2 is frog. This is the thing I need to guess a different option on if this doesn't work. Beetle is 3. 4 is flea. 5 is downfish. 6 is 3/4 fish. 3/4 circle fish. That one. It's actually 1/4 circle fish. I just realized that. Yay! It was the combination. I'm gonna write a 1 over that 3, so it's 1/4 circle fish. Just even though I don't need to do it anymore, just out of a sense of like, oh god, that's embarrassing. Fix that. It's fine. I got 3/4 of it eaten. That's what happened. Haha, pizza slice fish. Okay. We did it. Alright. So that's the culmination of that entire puzzle. We've now... So that's why I read all of those viewport thingies, and it's why we needed to find the chalk creatures. Oh boy. That appears to be a linking book. How's the viewport over at work? Let's see. Can I look at mine? Does that affect things? No. Does it affect anything in this room? Seemingly no. Yeah, that's a linking book. There we go. I did it. We need the board to light up just like ours did. This is like one of the most iconic visuals in the entire game. It's so cool looking. Look at that. Not gonna lie, I half expected this to be a boss arena in a Dark Souls game. Like this is like 1-inch deep water, or water you can somehow stand on and you fight a horrible monster with that thing in the background. Been spending a lot of time with Elden Ring this week. It's a whole lot of those knives.
Palo! Palo! Yo olay! Yo olay!
That was rude. What if I'm allergic? Well, they got me. Catherine, I feel like you could have armed me a little bit more about how to prepare for this.
Katarina now da saya yapalo. Yapa ay manay yalepo. Beauty sai. Bekaretere wirape yelokene falapo. Tisai. Waite fulupe. Now, Katerinene. Wisi fapolo ya sepe yai.
Yep. No idea. Except that they kind of seem to say Katron's name a couple of times. I finally have a second thing. Oh, I have a few things in my book now. There it is! This inventory makes sense all of a sudden. There was so much negative space. I write quickly from my prison. Along with this journal, I've instructed Nela to return the book that the Moiety intercepted upon your arrival. After questioning her, I've concluded that it was written by Atris for a very specific purpose. Gehn will wish to use it, though he will undoubtedly be suspicious. Once he is out of the way, you'll still need the combination to release me. I'm told he keeps it somewhere in his outpost on 233. Then I assume we're to signal Atris. I think I know how it might be done, but don't attempt it before I'm released. Catherine. So release her, then signal Atris. Alright. Oh. And then here's her actual journal. Oh, there's a whole bunch of it in here. Alright. Oh, goodness. Buckle up for some somewhat difficult cursive. Okay. Oh, okay. It's been 1 week since I linked the it's been 1 week since I linked to Riven, and I'm still reeling from the changes I've witnessed. Even before my eyes could adjust, the smell of my homeland embraced me. The sweet salt air was instantly familiar, but the scene that soon resolved was not. As I stood there, struggling to make sense of what I was seeing, a violent clang sounded, and bars appeared before me. Cursive B's are so weird. It was then that I must have been darted, for my memory after is cloudy. A Rivenese man, shabbily dressed in militaristic attire, was shouting something at me. He seemed to be attempting to speak Dani, but his grasp of the language was so poor that I could not make out his words. And then the world went dark. Many voices passed, until at last I awoke to a familiar face. Ete. After all this time, she's still as warm and kind as ever, and yet the years have clearly wounded her. As they've wounded everyone whose world became a prison when Gehn was trapped here. Everything is tinged with pain and loss. Even at his height, even at his bright smile, though she does her best to hide it. A desperate urgency, squelched, is this squelched? Yeah, squelched by unuttered fears. A desperate urgency, squelched by unuttered fears, seethes beneath her cordial veneer. When Atris and I left Gehn here, all those years ago, I was haunted by visions of what had become of my people, and how they might have come to suffer under his rule. But the injustices I imagined were nothing compared to the atrocities that have actually come to pass. The following is a chronicle of what I have learned. A record of all that has happened, should I no longer be here to tell it. The Moiety. It seems the confrontation that led to Gehn's entrapment on Riven was witnessed by some of the Rivenese. But their interpretation of the event was skewed, no doubt due to Gehn's overinflated view of himself. Atris and I had hoped that stripping him of his ability to link to other worlds might lead people to conclude that his claims of godhood were fake, but it appears that the opposite has come to pass. If Gehn was a god, and we had vanquished him, then we must be greater gods. It was thus assumed that my absence was only temporary, and that I would surely return one day to set the world right again. Thus the Moiety, the name they adopted after Gehn's disparaging use of the term, were born, sworn enemies of Gehn, and devotees of me. I had no inkling of this misconception about myself until 2 days ago, though in hindsight it makes perfect sense, given the way I've been treated. For their part, they naturally assumed an omniscient deity might be well aware of their own divine status, so there was no need to inform me. I only finally pieced it together during a recent underground gathering where they reenacted their version of the story of my life, a riveting tale that culminated with the confrontation between Atris, myself, and Gehn at the edge of the fissure. The events had been exaggerated to such grandiose proportions that I found it hard at times to suppress my laughter. Same meaning, basically. And yet, this myth had also given them the courage to stand against Gehn, and the hope that they might someday be delivered from the relentless inhumanities of his authoritarian rule. Even so, in fact, the fact that I am the one who has been cast as their savior, an omnipotent being who would one day return to Riven, overthrow Gehn, and lead them to a new paradise, is deeply unsettling. I would do anything to free my people from this hellish existence. But I am not who they think I am. How, though, can I dissuade them from this notion without also crushing their hopes? As Gehn's power grew, so did the Moiety. And in order to evade his persecution, for he would wipe them all out in an instant if he could, they had to become more and more adept at concealing themselves. They make use of a network of caves that so far he has failed to discover, but I fear it is only a matter of time before they're forced out. The secret passage. So the far right one, and then the far right one from this perspective, and then the one right next to the door. This will open that secret door without me doing the really long path. That's nice. I don't know if I need to go there ever again, but it's nice to know I never have to do the whole submarine mess again. Further jeopardizing their existence is the fact that the Moiety absolutely refuse to sever their ties with those who have sided with Gehn. The two factions thus live together in surprising harmony, their overarching sense of cultural unity appearing to outweigh the schism, at least for now. I heard today that Father and Aunt, I guess. I heard today that Father and Aunt were inducted into Gehn's labor force. I so long to see them, but a dimness shrouded at his face so abruptly when I asked for them that it left me hesitant to press the matter further. I must know the truth eventually, but I fear the news will not be good. From the moment of their inception, the Moiety have sought to disrupt Gehn's plans at every turn, sabotaging his constructions, stealing from his precious stockpiles, and keeping an ever-watchful eye on his every move. They shroud themselves with dark coverings and delight in the fact that their enemies are often frightened by their wraith-like appearance and their almost preternatural ability to wreak havoc without detection or consequence. It was in the course of one of these forays that I was fortuitously rescued when I first linked to Riven. I shudder to think what might have become of me had that scout not been there to intervene. Gehn will certainly be hunting for me now, no doubt furious at his guard's failure to detain me. He must be even angrier, though, at the loss of the linking book he surely assumes I brought with me. That I was deceived into linking into Riven without a way back is a bitter yet fortunate fact, for it may well have meant the death of us, or the death of us all had a path back to Denis fallen into his destructive hands. When he finally discovers that I came here empty-handed, he'll be angrier still. That is some consolation, at least. Right, because she didn't come here to save Riven. She was tricked here into linking back prematurely when they're not prepared to actually save Riven by her sons as a way of trapping her. And then Atreus has not saved her because then he'd be trapping himself in the book, and it's currently falling apart, so he has to work to save it, and also can't go with Catherine because if he goes in, he'd be bringing a linking book to save her, but if Gehn gets it, then it all is lost, basically. So he was completely fucked until a new human just showed up in the story, because without us, it was just a very basic logistical block on being able to take any action. I have glimpsed the final breath of a dying age. A tiny blade cuts the void. The white hole divided, again and again, dipped in black. The nib drips red. The art of genocide. Art being capitalized, which means that it's referring to the art of writing. Them writing the books is the art in is whenever they capitalize that word. Today I have ventured above ground to see for myself what has become of the island. I hoped it wouldn't be as bad as the Moiety had reported. It was worse. Having lived with it for so long, the Riveties have become inundated, endured, used to. Let's just say used to. I can't say. Inured. Is it inured? I might just not know the word. I become used to the steady decay around them, but I was devastated. As we wound our way through the underbrush, I found myself once again breathing in my youth. The ocean air transported me back in a matter of seconds, but as my eyes again took hold, the warmth of those memories vanished, and I was left with nothing but numbness. We had reached a bluff that had not been there the last time I had visited my home. Riven, which was once one island, has split into 5 distinct pieces that have since drifted apart at an astonishing rate. 4 of these have been claimed by Gehn as his exclusive domain. Only those that have sworn their loyalty to him are even allowed to access them. From my vantage point at the edge of the trees, I could see 3 of them, now blighted with Gehn's monomaniacal constructions. These islands are closely guarded and pose great personal risk to the Moiety. That hasn't kept them from doing whatever they can to thwart Gehn's endeavors there. Is that just the same islands tilted? Oh, it's all of the islands. It's how they're connected by the monorails, and then the one that's connected by the minecart rail. The 4th island I could not see, as it has crept away some distance and now lies concealed by fog. The Moiety said that Gehn originally governed from this small island, living and working in a protected space he built for himself atop the stump that remains where the great tree used to stand. The only surviving forest is located here, on Lookout Island, where the village also remains. This island was ostensibly intended to be the province of the people, but it too has been irrevocably marred by Gehn's oppressive intrusions. So there was once a massive tree there, and he would have probably destroyed it for his purposes. And I guess some insane levels of tectonic action have to be happening here, where the island is somehow splitting 5 directions at once and they're all drifting apart from each other. You would expect there to be a trench there, a huge trench, or some kind of volcanic behavior. Like there's a splitting that's happening there. It would explain why the connecting rails are just obliterating. Like one of the ways of getting over to another island just collapsed right in front of us when it got here, because they're literally spreading apart. So the very way of connecting them is itself like dangerous to maintain. And if he found a way to do it from inside the starry expanse, which might be more stable, then he selfishly might have no need for all these big expensive monorails for anyone else to use, because he can essentially fast travel between them from underneath. Words fall. Brittle brown leaves, masquerading as green, should never have held lives both bloomed as yet unneeded. I feel nothing today. I am an outcast among outcasts, the diaspora of a dying world. Despite my repeated protestations, the Moiety continue to treat me differently. Their desperate need precluding any dissuasion from the belief that I am some sort of messiah come to save them. They misconstrue my every move as a validation of their faith, whispering of how I walked the island bold and unafraid, mistaking my outrage at the island's devastation for bravery. But I am afraid, for I know something that the Moiety do not. The underlying reason for the island's accelerated decay. Gehn wrote this world, and so it will fail, as all of Gehn's ages ultimately fail. I must make the Moiety understand this, but I cannot talk to Ette. There were brief moments, soon after my arrival, where my divine status was forgotten, and I was simply Katran again. But they are almost non-existent now. There is one person, however, who seems immune to these fallacious notions. Nela. Her gaze has never faltered whenever I've dared hint at the uncomfortable truth. I feel I could trust her to bear the full brunt of it. I'm worried Nela's going to be loyal to Gehn as a mole, and that's how she got caught or something. Because she might not falter to these things because she might just know as one of Gehn's lackeys or something. Gehn is making books. How did I not know this until now? Atris and I knew he would likely attempt it, as he has adopted the paranoid practice of writing all the necessary materials into his ages. He's been exploiting the natural resources and the people of Riven as fodder for his mad pursuit to further his colonialist ideals. Thankfully, it sounds as if he has not yet succeeded. As painful as it's been, the fact that I've returned to Riven at this crucial juncture is fortuitous. The age is crumbling. My people are suffering, and if Gehn succeeds in securing his freedom, other worlds will suffer the same. The Moiety are looking to me. I may only be mortal, but I have to do something. Punch him in the face, stab him with a knife. He's just a dude. Take him out. Get him. Just dart him and then take him out. Let's see. Ooh, that's just a scribble. Is it? Wait, is that just a scribble and not even a word? It might be. I'm like, what is that word? It reads fine without it. It's been a long time since my last entry. There's much to tell. It was hard to recognize, but I found the star fissure. It is located on what Gehn refers to as his Temple Island, though the Moiety prefer to use the Rivenese word Alapo, which means water pool. They've thus taken to referring to the void itself as Aleturan, pool of stars. It is the very fissure that allowed Atris and me to escape this age without leaving a linking book behind, though it has since been sealed with a skin of heavy iron. Several derelict devices from the time remain mounted to its surface, including a hatch with a windowed viewpoint, a large telescope, and the mechanical lift that was used to install it. A combination to which was acquired by the Moiety long ago. Oop. Well, that's important to know. We have to translate it from Rivenese into Denis. Oh god. Don't know what that means. That's gonna be the struggle here. So that's 3, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So 3, 5, 3, 5. 3. Interestingly, not that many different symbols. So this symbol repeats twice. This symbol repeats twice. There's 3 of this one, 2 of this one, and then this is the only unique symbol in the entire series. So it's long, but you only have to do so many translations. That's going to be a process. Okay. In the early days, the Moiety briefly considered reopening the fissure. Thankfully, they decided against it. Had they attempted it back then, the results might well have been catastrophic. Were they to do so today, it would certainly mean the end of Riven. Is that... I guess that's how we signal Atris, as we doom Riven? We press the kill the world button, and then he'd be like, oh, fuck, I guess that's it. And then he comes in and, with a linking book and saves us. After we've preferably evacuated the Rivenese to this age, which must have been written by Catherine. It's probably actually good. I am told that in the days immediately following Gehn's confinement on Riven, he attempted to determine the feasibility of navigating the stars beneath the fissure. For he had seen the mist book fall from Atris's hands into that very same space. To this end, he sacrificed several poor souls, alleged transgressors of the law, by throwing them into the hatch, so he could observe their fate. It is said that they did not die, but what became of them remains a mystery. And that original fissure is no longer alone. New ruptures have appeared in recent years at various locations around the islands. In some instances, the Moiety were able to glimpse the breaches before Gehn and his minions moved in to contain them. The descriptions support my suspicion that the forces that are tearing Riven apart are more than merely geological. More troubling, however, is that Gehn is not simply containing these rifts, but is somehow using them to travel between the islands. That he has also reportedly devised a way to harvest the energies from the expanse for some as yet unknown purpose. How like him to wantonly exploit for his own selfish gain that which he does not understand. The star field beneath the fissure is not as it seems. It is a gentle space, as hospitable to life as a flowing river. That is how Atris described his brief time within the expanse before he linked out, leaving his mist book adrift within it. He was never able to conclude upon its nature, but I cannot help but feel that there must be some greater pneuma behind it. Pneuma? It's not phenomena. Pneuma? I guess it's just outside of my vocabulary. Some greater pneuma. Something I should have mentioned earlier. One of the colossal blades that appeared in the course of our escape from River, the great dagger that stands at one end of the fissure, has been adopted by the Moiety as an emblem of their struggle. So that's where it is. Okay, so it's from the Calamity. It literally summoned a dagger in the process. They have their own explanation as to how it came to be, of course, but their choice is more apt than they know. As that dagger, along with the other blades, was a manifestation of my rage at the desecration that Gehn had already wrought upon my world. I haven't told the Moiety that I wrote it into this age, but as I feared that would only fuel their overestimation of me, but I cannot deny it pleasures me to have inadvertently provided them with such a fitting symbol for their cause. That is a pretty neat, that's a really neat detail in the story overall. I like that they've just like summoned these huge, insane weapons that no one could wield or even move. Because we were looking at that earlier, like, there's that dagger, but elsewhere there was like a giant axe or something. You're like, what the what is that? It's akin to like the stone ship, these massive, impossible artificial structures that give a sense of history as if giants lived here, but it's because they could just change shit on the fly. Further evidence from my perspective that they do in fact just create these worlds when they do this. They can just change stuff. Like, that doesn't make any sense. That's not linking to a multiverse where everyone's exactly the same, has the same history, and also Gehn is there, and also Catherine's there, but a different, now there's knives. My limited encounter with Gehn's followers have been discouraging. Whenever I've attempted to engage them, they fled from me. I heard an interesting tale from the Moiety last night, which may help to explain this. Soon after we trapped Gehn on Riven, he claimed that it was he who had been responsible for the Great Blades, summoning them as a preemptively punitive reminder of the obeisance he expected. Obedience, basically? In the village circles, it is told that this act marked the beginning of a period of restitution, at the end of which, provided they had proven their devotion to him, they would be delivered into a new and better existence. I will continue my attempts to intervene on their behalf. The cage has finally failed. Gehn is free. The cage has failed. My sources have confirmed that Gehn has managed to... Oh, they mean he's free of this... He made a linking book. Okay, I'm like, he was caged? They mean Riven. My sources have confirmed that Gehn has managed to create a functional linking book. In fact, he had done so before my arrival, but kept this accomplishment so well hidden that only his closest acolytes were aware of it. I'm keeping it... She has weird... I'm realizing that for cursive, she has weird capital I's, doesn't she? Like, that's not how I would write in. The weird tail on the end is highlighting to me. I'm like, right, that's not how I's normally are written. In keeping with his callous regard for the worlds he creates, he has simply named this age 233. Which implies he's made way more progress since last time when he was working on age like 99 after 98 was the first one that like kind of worked but was crumbling already. It is not yet known whether he has written others. Oh, he's definitely written others. I've also just learned that years ago, a Moiety scout managed to steal a book that was an early failure that Gehn had intended to destroy. It was largely complete, but did not work. I wasn't told about it until now because they thought it was useless. So she probably edited that book to be a stable world, and that's probably where we are right now. Gehn struggled for decades, but he could never get a conventional linking book to work. Then one day, he began construction on a cumbersome mechanical solution, a complex array of devices designed to harness the energies of the starry expanse to use them to suppress his book's inherent flaws. The design phase was chaotic, and often dangerous. The Moiety tell of tremendous explosions, as Gehn sought to contain and wield forces that he knew little to nothing about. But he is nothing if not determined, and eventually he was able to use this enormous crutch to link to another age. I cannot deny his brilliance, but it is an abominable solution, brutish and overwrought, and all but entirely unnecessary. I have studied the partially burned book that the Moiety took from him. Although he sought retribution for the affront, he appears to have been otherwise untroubled by the theft. No doubt assuming the book would be useless in the Moiety's hands, but I can see what they could not. The book may yet be salvageable. The age the book describes is wholly unsuitable as a home for the Moiety, but I think it can be modified. I will dream. Yeah, there's so much modification built into these narratives that it doesn't make any sense that they're linking to things that already exist. They're modifying things. They're changing them. As shown by the fact that in many cases, the same people can still be in them and remember who you are, including literally Atris changing the book that Catherine's in right now. I have nearly finished writing The Moiety's Age. The world, as described, is harsher and more desolate than they are used to, but they should be able to sustain themselves there. But we'll need a second book. Gehn has been spending most of his time on 233 lately, so the danger is less, but getting into his lab will still be difficult. The coming collapse weights the air, blurring my vision both day and night. We must act soon. Success! We have secured a second book. Though I worry now that Gehn will miss it and deduce our plans before we're ready. The descriptive book I prepared as a refuge for the rebels is useless unless I can find a way to correct its inherent flaws. Gehn's massive machine mainly functions to manipulate the energies within the expanse. It serves its purpose, but its excess seems unwarranted. The Rivenese have long used crystalline substrates as an elegant means to manipulate light. If I could just find the right material... Last night's dreams have delivered me a perilous plan. I will write this substrate into the new Moiety Age. If we could temporarily access Gehn's apparatus, we could use our own book to link to this new age and search for the crystal. Someone would then have to carry the book back to safety once the link was made, but if it fell into Gehn's hands, all would be lost. When Gehn links to 233, one of his acolytes always remains to shut down the device. We'll have to get to him before he can do so, which means we'll only have a chance before they're alerted to our own presence. That's why I'm setting up this whole device, is so I can follow Gehn into his age, because this is all the process required to actually access it. I have to have it open when he didn't want it to be opened. Everything is ready. I have written the material into the new age, and I have prepared the second linking book as a return path to Riven. Of course, it too suffers the same deficiencies as all of Gehn's books, so it won't work unless it's augmented. Once I'm in the new age, I'll have to locate the crystal and adapt it to heal the gateway image, which should render the book functional. I could then use the second linking book to return to Riven with more of this material. It's risky, but if it all goes well, the Moiety and any others we can convince to join them will finally have an escape. I can't help but laugh at the absurdity of this plan. I sound like Atris. Should I fail to return, it will likely mean the end of my life, but my only real fear is for my people. Everyone assures me they have complete faith that I will accomplish my task and lead them to a better world. That's the fulfillment of the prophecy, after all. But underneath, they are just as tense and fearful as I am. What will become of them if I do not return? Will they perish here, on Riven, on attempts to follow me through this new book to an unknown fate? I don't know what to tell them. Against all odds, it is done. We have already evacuated most of our members to this new age, which the Moiety have named Te. The world is more beautiful than I'd anticipated, so I am pleased. The Rivenese have been liberated at last. They stand beneath the open sky, unafraid, dazzled by their freedom. They are happy. But there's still much to be done. This age is still vulnerable. The only way to completely protect it from Gehn is to destroy the books once everyone is safely in Te. I'm hesitant to bring this up with the Moiety until they've had a chance to acclimate themselves to the new world as it would mean they would be forever exiled from the only home they've ever known. Nor am I eager to sever my own connection, and my only path back to my life and family on Mist. For the greater good, it must be done. For the moment, we're safe. But our activities could arouse Gehn's suspicions at any moment. We cannot delay. I will turn to Riven tomorrow to resume my attempts to persuade the remaining holdouts to join the others in Tay. For now, though, I must rest. Ooh, long haul. Catherine's a really neat character in general. I like her a lot. At first glance, she is a captured and damseled woman in an entire medium that does that to women a lot, and especially did that in the 90s. Like, video games back then constantly would treat women in a similar way. So Catherine being, and in a way that's what Catherine was like in Mist. Like, in Mist, Catherine is Atris's cool wife that has vanished off to some place, and you don't successfully save her in the first game, so the next game's going to be about saving her. So when they set out to have a sequel where the premise is we need to save Catherine, they wrote a really cool story for Catherine. The end result is still that she's literally in like a birdcage basically to be saved, like so many female characters in video games. But she literally organized an entire rebellion. Not organized from scratch, because first of all, the people themselves already had their own rebellion, so they're also not just completely bystanders. So that's a decent approach too, because like there's an element of colonialism baked into this narrative, and it's easy to make it a little too like white saviory if you just make it so that like, Atris and his buddy are gonna come in and save these poor indigenous people from Gehn who are just so dumb and helpless that they're just doing nothing. And it's like, no, like both tropes are being skewered to an extent, even all the way back then, where the people, the Rivenese have rebelled and found their own solutions and are successfully doing a lot against Gehn. And then Catherine makes her way back home, and she further stokes the fires of rebellion and finds an escape and a new home. And they've like accomplished 99% of anything that actually has to be done. Which is its own little funny thing, is like we the Wanderers show up and we're just kind of solving our way through the world and piecing together the history of what's happened here, but we ourselves do relatively little compared to what everyone else has actually accomplished here. Because yeah, she's already successfully evacuated people and made a new home and a stable place, and she just is, and her fatal flaw is essentially that she wanted to still try to convince the people that were most poised to betray her to evacuate with the others and be saved, because they're trapped in a doomed world and they're her people, and she's still trying to reach out to the people that are the most dangerous to reach out to, and that's probably how she was captured, because this is her last entry and she disappears, and that's brutal. But aside from that, like, yeah, like the primary thing that we are doing and that Atris is doing, because they're already safe essentially, is that we're reconnecting. We're getting Catherine out of that cage, but like the stakes that we personally have here are basically to successfully reunite Catherine with Atris so they're not isolated forever. But she is ready to just do the heroic thing and save the people of Riven and vanish forever, never seeing Atris again, because due to the nature of how linking books work, and also just the lack of information to even have here, there would never be a way of, one, I don't think you can link, I don't know if you can actually link to a book, like link to some existing setting, I don't think you can reasonably like find it, really, but he wouldn't even know it existed, or even that she survived. He would, from his perspective, she would have died with Riven, potentially, and he would just have to hope that maybe some solution happened, but there's no way to draw the connection. But even if you can link to a book that already exists via other, like by making even more books and so on, which I guess you must be able to, because you can they at least intentionally make a bunch of Mist linking books so they can go back to Mist, so that must be possible in some way. There's no way of knowing the specific information to write to get here. So yeah, they would just be lost forever. It's tragic. but she did do like 99% of what needed to be done and is like this cool heroic figure. I also find this interesting because in the book of Denis, I think the book of Tiana is the backstory of what happened, and the book of Denis is the one where they link through a mystery book. It's a story. Because there's 3 books. There's 3 novels, I should say. The word book comes up too much here for me to say book. There's 3 novels about Mist, and I think it's the book of Denis where they unearth like a secret library of forbidden books, and they link into one and find this whole fascinating culture that's on the other side of this place. And it's a fascinating look at what, like, the very concept of privilege, essentially. And I'm using words that some gamers will get reflexively mad at because they're stupid. Sorry. But that's basically why. But it's a fascinating look at privilege because this setting has slaves everywhere, but they're invisible. They're inside the walls. And so they go from place to place and they keep there's just spectacularly like these grand feasts from room to room, and like things are cleaned and immaculate and amazing, but all you see anywhere is the nobles, the officials, all the people of this place that seem to live in an incredible paradise. And so for several chapters, they just are being introduced to these people that are hosting them as if at a party, and they're all honored guests for visiting here, and they're being treated so well. And Atris takes to it so easily, which is very fitting because he's not evil like Gehn, but he has had a pretty privileged life ever since then. Like, he is the person who is eternally in the position of power as a virtual, like, semi-deity book mage guy that, like, he doesn't have to, like, work. He can just conjure food via planets. Like, he's so cartoonishly powerful that he doesn't have the same perspective that other characters would have. He would have grown up very differently if he stayed with Tiana, but he was ripped from Tiana by Gehn at a young age because Tiana was raising him great. But he was taken away young and given this power, and he didn't go insane and evil the way that his sons did or that Gehn did in their own ways, but he is corrupted in some way, in a subtle way, in the sort of like way where like Star Wars fans are often not willing to admit that the Jedi are really a fucked up organization in a lot of ways because they're framed as the good guys, and their job is to like be the good guys, and they say they're the good guys, and they're framed in opposition to the really, really bad guys. So it's like, well, they're the good guys, right? And then people struggle to reconcile the fact that so much of Star Wars fiction, including most of the movies and all of the prequels and so on, are all about unpacking what's wrong with the Jedi Order. And if they don't engage with that, then they don't understand the narrative, and then they get mad at various movies for contradicting how they feel about Star Wars when they haven't been engaging with the majority of Star Wars fiction at that point, if they think that the Jedi are the unalloyed good. In a similar way, people see Atris as the good guy in all these stories, and he's not like evil, but he is corrupted, and he does have blind spots, and there are things that are wrong with what he does throughout the narrative, and the powers that he wields, and the fact that he still writes books despite knowing the stuff that he knows from the Book of Atris, the story about how Gehn raised him and the fucked up things he was doing, and the fact that these all are meddling with the lives of real people, whether they're created or not. There's a lot of reasons why it's unethical to use the art at all in this setting. But Catherine, she's from one of these books. She is a colonialized / created person, whichever version of this is, or both, because yes, both are true at the same time, even if they are created. Like, this is colonialism. They are subjugating indigenous people that live inside these worlds, and specifically, Gehn very specifically did go after Catherine's world. He literally, like, discarded, when Atris was being rebellious, he discarded Atris, and then he subjugated the people of Riven, and then was going to take Catherine as his child bride. That's the story preceding Riven. It's upsetting. Gehn is really that awful in so many ways. So given all this context, when they're in this story where there's all this extravagance everywhere at this weird setting that's inside the Forbidden Book, Atris is not questioning it. So many other people are not questioning it. Catherine is the first person to question it because she has seen this before, and so she's the first person to feel like something is wrong. And then quickly they are. I think she's the one that should notice and recognize the invisible people, the slaves that are making all this possible, and unearth the horrible injustice that's in the setting. Like, people that don't want to talk about this stuff don't understand that this is literally like the premise of the entire Myst universe. Like, it's about these themes. That's the whole point. It's about generational trauma and colonialism. That's what all the games are about. That's anyway, there's my once per new playthrough like video essay light rant, because I was trying to write this video over a year ago. The reason why if there's any flaws in my rants, I understand. It's because I'm going off the cuff, and it's not off a billion pieces of research. Because, yeah, the reason why I'd put off making the video is because I'm like, well, there's 6 games, or arguably 8, because the other 2 games they've made revisit the themes of the main Myst series in different ways, while technically not being part of the same canon, I think? So, ideally, I would play all 8 games again, one of which is a fucking MMO, and I might need to play the online version of the MMO, and then also read all 3 books again, and then review a bunch of online resources and things that the authors have said and blah blah blah, keeping notes all along, do a draft of a script and an outline, then probably replay and reread everything again, because now it's all in the additional context of having like processed all the books and games again to see what unearths again, and that's part of my process. And that's just such a nightmarish project that I've just been putting it off, because I'm like, it's so much easier to just write about a movie that's 90 minutes long. I swear to God. Anyway, I wanted to page through this again, just to look at drawings. That one's much harder to parse. There's some eyeballs, and seemingly Catherine scribbling just to see if the pen is working, and so on. I like that there's a lot of like, there's a ton of like scratched out words, which is a fun detail. The scratched out words are often just a misspelling of the next word, but sometimes she starts writing something else. I am not who they think I am. I'm only scratched out. How though? Like, that's a different thought. And cast me as their god, scratched out, savior. Those are fun details. Some more scribbling just to make the pen work. So this is the code we need. I should have screenshotted that. I don't think I did. This is the big knives. It's just one planet. No, it's I keep thinking that it's the same island rotated, but no, it's the 4 islands that she can see. The path through the woods. Not much to get from there, I think. Lots of scribbling. This is all the stuff that's by... This is where we started out. All the apparatus is there. This right here is the steam thing that I had to change when I first got in. I remember doing that. That's the one that has the 2D steam up here. It's the code that we need for that device at the beginning, which is important. But I think if I put it in now, we get a bad ending where I doom everybody left on Riven, and also Catherine, and Catherine dies, and also I die because there's nobody to give me a book to save me. Or Gehn comes in and saves me, but only me, and Catherine's lost. This is the world we're in right now. This is the process they have to go through to get these linking books to work, I believe. Anyway, no one can accuse me of not thinking about Myst a lot, because I've thought about it a lot. I just might have some incomplete information, because is what makes me really nervous about finishing any project about these kinds of things, is it's really stressful to write about anything that contains this many separate pieces of media. Because how do you hold 8 games and 3 books in your head at once? Ugh. I feel nervous writing about a show that's more than one season long. Whew. Gave myself some time to drink some water after that hour-long reading. Or not an hour long, but the recording was an hour long. But I did a lot of reading. Okay. And then they locked me in here, right? Because they don't want you to explore this land. Right, this is the trap book. Is it a picture of Gehn on the cover? Let's see. Oop. Not save. Wait. Oh, did the door open when I finally inspected everything? They do let me out. Okay. Save. Let's be crazy. Oh, that's awkward that it just blinks out of existence when you click on it. Probably fade out while you're looking at. Ow, the handle popped.
No, dai. Nel sauce jan okej, je bokom o boko sypo. Vrijdag, hoor. To je ujo.
I technically just got the achievement for beating the game. This is the bad ending, where you trap yourself in the trap book. And then they made a unique visual where you just... There's like, it's gone. He's just in this book. Dumbass. Trapped yourself in the book? Oh, can't skip the credits. Well, see you in a bit. We'll watch the full credits when I actually beat the game. Okay, so let's not do that again. You don't trap yourself inside the death book. Oh, they're all knives. I keep seeing them as feathers. They have made so many of those knives. Hello? That's interesting too. The scepter. Staff, but it has such a... Ooh, at the top of the screen it's doing something weird. But it's such a weird, it looks like a pizza cutter. Oh boy. Can we not? Sometimes it feels like they heard that people got stressed out by the rickety bridges and VR and Channelwood, and they're like, oh yeah? Get ready for this next game. We got planks, we got floating in space. Same fruit from the other world, so it's presumably from the other world. Oh. Alright, Catherine's being a bit idolized. Oh, there's meant to be tears or other markings. I think this is supposed to be Catherine. Because they're paying tribute. Because they're still enough of a religion-driven society that it's easier for them to replace Gehn with Catherine than it is to just accept that none of these people are gods. Down we go. So many fences everywhere. I feel like your role as a guard has to be a little weird with all these fences just in the way. Like, if you're standing guard, like, is your job to, can you open it from that side? What if you need to react to something that's actually here in the direction you're guarding from? Maybe they're just all set up to, like, guide me here. And there it is. The partially burned book that became Tay. Well, hope no one finds it. The water floating here is surreal in its own way. Okay, so we did that. I guess if we're looking at bad endings, one question here is, can I go to the beginning and doom Riven by opening the rift? That's arguably another bad ending I already have access to now. Also, just for funsies, this one? There we go. I was like, why won't they glow at me? I've kind of goofed it up. Was the left one or the right one? It's a little hard to parse how the controls work for these. It's the one to the left of the door. This one has to go out. I don't think yeah. You have to wait for them to go out normally. Oh, there it goes. Ta-da! That's an achievement unlocked. Okay, so that's the way in. I don't have a reason to use it right now. But that's how you do it. We're currently back on the forest island, so if I come back around through here and take the lift back to the temple island, I should be able to sing the song that ends the earth. That's always fun. And if nothing else, I will prove we know the code, which I don't know yet technically. But if I solve the way to open it to get the bad ending, will have it on hand later for when I need to use it for the good ending. So let's see if I can successfully open this door. I just need the numbering system and the cheat sheet. And we'll see what we can do. Oop. So we provably know the numbers 1 through 6. That's helpful. For me, the struggle is I don't know higher than 6. They really got to fix that weird loading issue right there. Because after that point, we've used every configuration. You've used the 3 directions on their own, and then pairs of directions, and then given that there's only 3 total, there are no other pairs of directions. It's just those 3 different pairs. That's all the combinations. So, what comes next in their numbering system? Given that we don't see it like written out in order. One option might be that 7 could be all 3 of them at once. Or 7 could be 2 directions. It could be the double stroke in one direction. Because we have seen that. We've seen an example of that, but we don't know exactly what order it happens in. Let's see. And then we have to translate them into these, so that's fun. Okay, so before I properly fuck this up, let's make another save again. Alright, notebook. Okay, so this should be easy, right? This is I think this is a number we know. Oh, I already wrote them down. 8. So 8 is 2 down. And that's the second direction clockwise. So it should be up here is first, and then up here is next. So that should be 7, and that should be 9. So it goes 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. What does 10 look like? It does 1 on each direction, then pairs, then 2 on each direction. So I guess next up would be pairs of 2 in each direction. So if it goes 1, 2, 3, and then 4 is this diagonal, this pair of directions, I mean, then it goes, so 4, 5, 6, then it's 7 is 2 here, 8 is 2 here, 9 is 2 here. Then like this pair and this pair at once would be 10. Then this pair and this pair would be 11. And this pair and this pair would be 12. And then I guess you'd have to then do 3 in the top right, 3 on the bottom, then 3 in the top left for the next 3 numbers, then the pairs of 3s after that. Because it can't fill up all the way. That doesn't seem to be an option. So I guess it's just a base 3 system where after every 3 individuals, then 3 pairs, then the new stack. So I guess it's base, it might technically be base 6 then? Since it has 6 options before it loops. I guess that's the system then. So if Dunny is base 4, then their system is base 6. I don't even know. Honestly, I don't know if I can confidently say that the Dunny is base 4. I'm really bad at different bases of numbers, so just whatever. So a lot of this is you know what I mean. If I'm wrong, you know what I'm getting at least. So I have my example of the numbers 1 through 9, which I wrote in my journal for Dunny language. Let's see, I guess what I should do is I should translate these, because that's the easy part. Let's translate this into English, or Arabic numbers. Okay, so 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So the double hashes are 7, 8, 9. So 7, 8. So this is 9 first. Then 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 3. 5. So 9, 3, 5, 3, 5. 9. The double hashes. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Then 7, 8. All right, that's just 9 again. Yeah, I just already wrote that down. 9, 3, 5, 3, 5, 9. Correct. 7, because it's 2 lower than 9, because it's the first configuration chronologically, or clockwisely. Top left is 3. 7. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Then the double arrows are 7, 8, 9, and that's the first double, so that would be 10. So 7, 3, 5, 3, 5, 9, 7, 3, 7, 10. Okay. Write those down. I can work with that. 9, 3, 5, 3, 5, 7, 9, 7, 3, 7, 10. Let's circle 10 so I know it's one number. Because it's 2 digits, it's unhelpful. 93535, 93535, 9737, 9737, 10. Okay. That's that translated. So now we just need to go into our dunny numbering system, which isn't too hard. I should use a visual aid as I recap this, I guess, for a moment, but let's see. So this is 1, it's just a vertical line. 2 is a curve, like you see here, but on the left side. 3 is a K, there's one right here. 4 is a square, which there's no examples of here, but it's like a rectangle on the bottom right corner. Then 5 is 1 rotated, because they only have 4 symbols. So 5 is 1, but sideways. And then that makes this 6, because it's 5 and 1 added to each other. And that's how 6, 7, 8, 9 goes. You just have a horizontal line through the previous numbers. Thankfully, I wrote them down from last time when I was talking about that earlier, so I have most of this written out. So the first one's 9, which is a horizontal line and a little square. Nope. There it is. Horizontal line, little square. 3 is a K on its own. 5 is the horizontal line. Then 3, 5 again, so K horizontal. 9, 3, 5, 3, 5. 9. Ta-da. 7 is, it looks like a bow and arrow. 9, 3, 5, 3, 5, 9, 7. Making sure I'm on the right, like, row. Don't lose count. Yep, bow and arrow. 3, 7. That's already set to 3. That's lucky. Okay. So that's almost everything. Maybe, I don't know if it probably happens after you press an OK button and not just when you finish putting the code in. I want to have it mostly solved. So 10 is where I don't have it solved yet. But going basis on the Rivenese system, they then just iterate on their way of notating what place you're in. So if what they do here is there's a horizontal line that indicates 1, and there's nothing at first, which is like the 0th place. It's like how it becomes like if we have the number 7 versus 17, you'd be adding a notation for the 1 in the 10th place. So this is like the 10th place, as far as I can tell. It's this really messy language for discussing this, but I'm bad at talking about this topic. So if that's the case, then I guess instead of having this, you would have the 2 symbol. So 10 should be the bow symbol for 2, but rotated. So it's on the bottom, I think. So it'd probably be a little hill on the bottom with a vertical line. Oh, no, it's just the hill on its own. Okay, so it's the hill on its own, and then a vertical line would be added next. So that'd be, I guess the vertical line would make it 11. Yeah, that makes sense, because 5 is just a horizontal line without a vertical line. So 6 is after that. So yeah, so 11 would be the hill and the line, and this is that. Okay. They make it very clear you did it correctly so far. Okay, time to fuck up. I know I'm not supposed to do this if that's somehow unclear. I am going to kill everyone if I can figure out how to operate this. the idea that this just crushes it. See, is that a hook? Uh-oh. Uh-oh. That's not good. Oh, I think we kind of ended the world a bit. Whoopsum doodle. I've got some pretty good footing right now, seemingly. That's impressive. Oh, cool knife. Ooh. I'm amazed that I didn't fall in. Hi.
There isn't much time. Where's Catherine?
Oops.
The trap book is empty. I don't understand.
Uh-oh.
You never did.
Father.
Father, I am no longer your father because you are no longer my son.
He did not fall for that at all. That's not a good sign at all. Why am I just standing
I
still?
don't know what you thought you were doing, but thank you. I finally am free.
What if I was helping you? Why'd you... That guy's just gonna walk away? He sucks so much that he doesn't even save his guy. He just leaves his guy to die on the exploding Riven, and even he doesn't seem to even consider what's gonna happen to him on dying Riven. He's like, yeah, I'm just gonna shoot this guy with the tranq dart and then walk away. Walk away where? The world's over. That's really bad. They're not very... The lackey is not very smart. Whoops. Well, Gehn won. As expected. Alright, I'll see you after these credits yet again. Or I won't do that.